For the deadliest and most wanted drug cartels, the competition, rivals, and bloody battles are all routine activities, but some take deadly to new levels. Stay tuned as I uncover the most deadly rivals that dared to stand in the way of the infamous Sinaloa cartel, owned by none other than the notorious Joaquin Archivaldo Guzman Loera. You'll know him better as El Chapo, the Beltran Leyva cartel. Born in the infamous state of Sinaloa, Arturo Beltran Leyva seemed like he was destined to be entangled in a world of crime. Arturo grew up in the heartland of Mexico, surrounded by the shadowy figures of the drug trade, and as the oldest of 5 brothers, he naturally assumed the role of a leader in his family's drug smuggling gang, marking the beginning of his ascent into the dark underbelly of the drug trade. For years, Arturo remained a secondary character in the cutthroat world of drug trafficking, answering to more powerful and notorious kingpins. He played the loyal companion to the likes of Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, the legendary godfather of the Guadalajara cartel, and Amado Carrillo Fuentes, the formidable head of the Juarez cartel. But his true moment of reckoning came when he crossed paths with the infamous El Chapo. Aligned with the Sinaloa cartel, Beltran Leyva played a significant role in establishing the organization's dominance. However, a bitter betrayal would soon rupture their once solid alliance. Believing that El Chapo had orchestrated the arrest of his brother, Beltran Leyva sought revenge and escalated tensions between the two factions. This marked the birth of a bloody rivalry, as Beltran Leyva joined forces with his family and loyal allies in a series of brutal drug turf wars against the Sinaloa cartel. And who suffered for it? That's right, the citizens. You see, the Beltran Leyva cartel was no pushover. As the leader of the newly formed Beltran Leyva cartel, Beltran Leyva plunged Mexico into an era of unparalleled violence. The cartel quickly gained notoriety as they trafficked drugs like cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. Their ruthless tactics included kidnapping, torturing, and mercilessly murdering enemies and anyone connected to rival groups. Beltran Leyva's thirst for power and bloodshed earned him a fearsome reputation, propelling him to become the 3rd most wanted man in Mexico. But as history has taught us, every reign of terror meets its end. In a meticulously planned operation, Mexican special forces closed in on Beltran Leyva's hideout. On that fateful day in December 2009, the once mighty kingpin was met with a hail of bullets. Engulfed in a 4-hour shootout, Beltran Leyva's life was snuffed out, leaving behind a legacy of brutality and chaos. The demise of Arturo Beltran Leyva was celebrated as a triumph for the Mexican government's war on drugs. However, the battle against drug cartels continues to rage on. While some remnants of the Beltran Leyva cartel attempted to restore its former glory, their efforts proved futile. The loss of their leader triggered the downfall of the organization. The Beltran Leyva cartel experienced a significant decline in power and influence. Internal divisions and relentless pressure from law enforcement agencies weakened the organization, resulting in a fragmented structure and diminished operational capacity. Though remnants of the Beltran Leyva cartel may still pose a threat, their overall influence has significantly waned. The Barrio Azteca is a notorious street and prison gang with roots in both the United States and Mexico. The gang first emerged in El Paso, Texas, and Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, back in the early 1980s. Interestingly, it all started inside the Caulfield Unit, a prison near Tennessee Colony, Texas. A prisoner named Jose Raulio Rivera from El Paso played a pivotal role in its formation. What began as a small group soon grew into a transnational criminal organization that thrived on illegal activities along the US-Mexico border. Today, Barrio Azteca is considered one of the most violent gangs in the United States, boasting over 3,000 members spread across the country. They have a presence in various states like New Mexico, Texas, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania. In Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, their stronghold, their numbers are estimated to be around 5,000 members strong. The reputation of Barrio Azteca is built on its image as a tough and fiercely loyal gang. They have a no-holds-barred approach, even resorting to murdering innocent civilians to instill fear and maintain the loyalty and obedience of their members. Some undocumented Mexicans who are arrested in the United States end up in Texan prisons, and once they complete their sentences, they are deported back to their home country, where many of them quickly join the ranks of Barrio Azteca, engaging in various criminal activities. Drug trafficking has long been a source of income for the gang, with ties to the Juarez cartel. As Barrio Azteca grew in power, they forged a close alliance with the cartel, resulting in a mutually beneficial relationship. The gang began purchasing large quantities of cocaine directly from the cartel at discounted rates. In return, they would facilitate straw purchases of weapons from Texan gun shops and smuggle them across the border. So, back in 2008, when the Sinaloa cartel thought they could take over Ciudad Juarez, the Barrio Azteca stepped up to protect their turf. They teamed up with La Linea, the armed wing of the Juarez cartel, to fend off the Sinaloa crew. You see, the Sinaloa folks wanted control of the drug smuggling routes in that area, but these guys weren't having any of that. It was more like, not on our turf, and together they gave the intruders a run for their money. These routes, known as the Juarez Plaza, are of of immense importance to drug trafficking organizations as they serve as a major conduit for illegal substances into the United States. It's estimated that around 70% of the cocaine entering the United States passes through the Juarez Plaza. While the gang operates in both the US and Mexico, the majority of their violent activities occur south of the border. They've become a prime example of how Mexico's drug war transcends national boundaries. Members of Barrio Azteca can be either US or Mexican citizens, blurring the lines between the two countries. It's vital to point out that as of June 2020, the Los Salazar cell of the Sinaloa cartel was considered to be the only other organized crime organization on an equal level with La Linea when it came to the degree of control over the Ciudad Juarez criminal drug market. Barrio Azteca was not. The La Familia Michoacana, deep in the heart of Michoacan, a power struggle between the Gulf Organization and a group known as El Milenio formed, and from its ashes emerged an enigmatic force that would forever change the criminal landscape. La Familia Michoacana. La Familia had humble beginnings, born out of the desperation and frustration of the people. They witnessed the rise of the Gulf Organization, backed by their brutal enforcers, the Zetas, who sought to dominate Michoacan. But fueled by growing discontent and the surge in methamphetamine distribution, La Familia took a stand against the Zetas' control. In 2006, La Familia shattered the dominance of its rivals, pushing them out of Michoacan. They became bitter rivals in Mexican organized crime history, but amidst the chaos, alliances were formed. La Familia forged an unholy pact with the infamous Sinaloa organization. But because every cartel is in the game for its interests first, both allies fell out over Michoacan. They refused to allow the Sinaloa cartel to encroach over its territory, and it escalated into brutal confrontations, ambushes, assassinations, and threats leading to their falling out. La Familia's violence reached its zenith with a horrifying display of power where heads were callously thrown into a crowded club, Sol y Sombra. These brutal acts, alongside violent clashes with rival groups, caught the attention of President Felipe Calderon. He deployed federal forces to confront these criminal organizations head-on, but the cartel's mystique extended beyond their gruesome acts. Their leaders embraced a cultish ideology, blending Christian fundamentalism with their criminal pursuits. Under the guidance of Nazario Moreno Gonzalez, known as El Chayo or El Mas Loco, religious volumes were written, and foot soldiers were mandated to carry Bibles and engage in prayer sessions before their nefarious endeavors. Reports say that La Familia, along with other Mexican criminal organizations, supplied the United States with a staggering 200 tons of meth each year, worth $20 billion. La Familia alone accounted for half of this illicit supply, fueling addiction and ravaging communities across the U.S. In 2009, U.S. President Barack Obama designated La Familia as significant foreign narcotics traffickers. Their leaders were branded as kingpins, their assets frozen, and economic ties severed. However, La Familia's grip on Michoacan remained firm. Things took a dramatic turn when the leader of La Familia Michoacana was reported killed in a shootout with federal police. Yet, rumors persisted for years about his alleged demise until it was finally confirmed. Moreno's supposed death triggered a split within the group, leading to the rise of the next group in this video, the Knights Templars. In 2003, a man named Nazario Moreno Gonzalez, also known as El Mas Loco or El Chayo, returned to Michoacan with a mission. He sought to organize the La Familia Michoacana into a powerful drug cartel, with himself as the spiritual leader. The transformation was complete because he succeeded. La Familia Michoacana split to birth the notorious Knights Templar, which also became a notable opposition to the Sinaloa cartel. The Knights Templar, inspired by the historical medieval order, blended religious symbolism with ruthless tactics. Moreno and his partner, Servando Gomez Martinez, believed they were doing God's work, protecting their people from the clutches of rival cartels. But their reign of terror didn't go unchallenged. El Chapo's Sinaloa cartel stood as a formidable rival. Over the years, clashes and rivalries between these two factions escalated, leaving a trail of violence and bloodshed in their wake. In 2010, Moreno's alleged death at the hands of Mexican authorities sent shockwaves through the criminal underworld, but doubts lingered. Some believed he had faked his death, continuing to lead the Knights Templar from the shadows. In 2014, the Mexican government, along with these self-defense groups, launched a joint operation to weaken the Knights Templars' grip. Several high-ranking members were arrested, and Nazario Moreno's death was finally confirmed. Yet, some still question the truth, wondering if he truly met his demise. As the dust settled, Michoacan began to rebuild, but scars from the battles between the Knights Templar and the Sinaloa cartel still lingered. The legacy of violence and the struggle for control serve as a stark reminder of the dark chapter Michoacan endured. However, in the aftermath, a new era era emerged. The government intensified its efforts to dismantle drug cartels, bringing some semblance of peace to the region. With the Knights Templar weakened, other criminal organizations vied for power in Michoacan. New alliances formed, and the Sinaloa cartel sought to expand its influence into the vacuum left by the Knights Templar. But do you think they succeeded? Where are they today? The Tijuana Cartel. The Tijuana Cartel, also known as the Arellano Felix Organization, or AFO, was a chilling testament to Mexico's drug underworld. They embody power, violence, and far-reaching influence, making them a formidable force that law enforcement agencies tirelessly combat. You see, the Tijuana Cartel's power lay in its strategic location. Based in Tijuana, they had a tight grip on the smuggling routes stretching into California, the primary gateway to the United States. And it's not just about controlling the transportation, importation, and distribution